Son, but only the Father. For as the days of Noah were, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing until the flood came and swept them all away. So too will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then two will be in the field, one will be taken and one will be left. Two women will be grinding meal together, one will be taken and one will be left. Keep awake, therefore, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour. This is the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Please be seated. So, we have entered into Advent. It's a time where we prepare and then we wait, and all around us, we've moved from Halloween to Thanksgiving, and we're already in Christmas. But we in the church, even though in our homes we have already got Christmas stuff up and it's festive, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are in the liturgical year. We are in Advent as we wait and we watch. Okay. What's interesting about these texts today, especially the Romans text, the second reading, and the Gospel, there seems to be two extreme responses to this idea of the coming of Jesus, or the end times. Because in the Advent season, not only are we awaiting the baby Jesus, when will the King come, we are also awaiting the promised second coming. So we're in this place where we know the baby came. We also know that Christ has promised to come again. And so we have this pendulum response, if you will, where we move back and forth. Back and forth. And the second reading has Paul talking about one response might be the extreme response, where the people are living in just absolute drunkenness and revelry and partying. The end is coming and I don't care. It might be like some of us. Well, what's the first picture, Lori? Would you give us the first picture? So this one here, the rapture survival part. This could be one response to this. Because I tell you what, we have made it through so many promised raptures. You might not even know of the promised raptures you've made it through. I was actually 2 years ago, I was walking through the grocery store and talking to the person behind the counter, and I said, so how's it going? He says, I'll see you tomorrow. I was like, what? I was like, so you're going in for surgery? No, didn't you hear tomorrow's going to be the rapture? No, I missed that. And he was serious, because he had been told by his Bible teacher that next day was the rapture. So of course I went home and I Googled it like all good theologians. And lo and behold, there was somehow the promise of the end times. Okay. I mean, in 2012, we probably experienced it a little bit with the Mayan calendar ending on year 2012, and people talked about that might have been, or Y2K if we want to go back 19 years, and that whole non-event. But so we got this where the response could be this, which is tongue-in-cheek. We're like, oh, I get another punch in my rapture because I made it. And that's kind of like what I see Jesus saying, like in the days of Noah, because they had no clue what was going on. They were just living their day-to-day life, and they really wasn't even paying attention. I always like the fact that they weren't paying attention, but the neighbor, Noah, was building this huge boat in the story. So we've got that. That's one response. And then we have the response that Paul seems to be addressing, where he's like, you don't live in this way, because the end is getting closer. And then And the response might be this next slide, which is this. I love this. This went viral about a year ago. We're at a demolished house and someone painted and they said, "I got the spider." We all know, folks, whether it be a spider or whether it be a snake, we all know that this might be the responsive. But when I read Paul's text, this is what I kind of see, where it's absolutely ludicrous responses. The end is coming, so I'm going to throw everything out and just party like it's 1999. Wait, that's Prince. That's a little different song. But you know that the pendulum goes one side or the other. And then we have gravity that brings us back to the center. Because both responses, it's interesting, both responses that I don't care, I'm just going to live my life where I normally live it day in and day out, or the extreme where I throw everything out, both of them seem to have an inward focus. It's about how I'm going to live my life for me. This is what I'm going to do. And it's this inward focus. There's a quote that it used to be attributed to Martin Luther. We kind of think that Martin Luther maybe didn't say it, but he definitely, his actions and his day-to-day living exemplified it. But the quote is, "If the end was coming tomorrow, I would plant a tree today." This idea that we don't know what the end or when the end is coming. Christ tells us that of that only one person knows. We don't. We can have the rapture card in our pocket, we can pretend and we can joke, but we don't know. So Luther says, or someone, and we attribute to Luther, but I'm just going to say Luther said it, it sounds better. Martin Luther says that the end was coming tomorrow, I plant a tree today. Because this is what we know. And we respond by taking care of what we know, and the world we know, and the people we know today. We are, in a sense, in this Advent time of waiting and preparing, and we wait for the coming again. But as we do, as we wait, it's not a waiting where we sit down and we do nothing. It's that active waiting. My grandmother used to have a game she called the waiting game. And it was a game that when we played it as a family, we called it tap rummy. Because every time it was your turn, you tapped the table. My grandpa was really good at it. He would tap the table and the entire thing would shake. That was his favorite part. He didn't care if you won or lose. He just lost. He just wanted to tap the table. But my grandmother, when she was waiting for someone to come, she said I would play this waiting game, and she would play that game with herself. It's almost like playing a game of chess with yourself. You always win. But she said it was an amazing thing, that as she would wait and she would do this, time seemed to pass quickly. Because it wasn't just waiting. There was this activeness to it. I think that's important as we as people of God, as Christians, as we wait for the second coming. It's not just the sense where we sit down and we just we just do nothing. But we are called to take care of our neighbors. We are called to take care of one another. We are called to reach out to the poor and reach out to the needy. And we're to live in grace and not fear. Because this is the response out of fear. That idea of holding the rapture card is an idea of, it's really fear. Because we don't know that we're going to live this way like I don't care what's going to happen. But we do. So that pendulum goes back and forth. And we know we've experienced it. You've been there where fear has taken over and you don't know what the next day is going to bring, which we don't. But that fear takes over and we swing back and forth, where it's panic and anxiety, or we lie to ourselves and I don't care. I'm just going to be like that ostrich and just going to be in the sand. But the beautiful thing about grace is that when grace grabs a hold of us and then grace enwraps us in that loving embrace, it brings us back like gravity. It brings us back to the center. where it brings us back to our center, which is the grace and the love and the beauty of God. It's the reason we have this meal every week. It's a way for us to be brought back to center. It's the reason why we have the waters in the font, so you can dip your fingers and be reminded that we're brought back to center. Because we as people of God need those reminders that we're brought back to center. There are ways, there are practices that we might take part of that help us get back to center. And in the season of Advent, we have these things called Advent calendars, where there's times where there might be a scripture reading. They have all kinds of Advent calendars now. They've got the Lego Advent calendars, which are great for kids and adult kids that we can piece together that gives us a reminder. They've got beer a day Advent calendars. Yeah, and we've got all kinds of Advent calendars. There's two Advent calendars I want to point out that I want to lift up. One is the reverse Advent calendar, which I posted on the Facebook page, and I'll post it again, and I'll put it on our website. But it is each day you have a box where you put a different food item in the box. And then when it gets Christmas, you have this box of food that you can gift to a local food bank. You can gift, you might bring it to our Hope Barrel, which is a food helping other people eat. That's one way that you might be able to lift up and prepare, because not only does it prepare, help others, but it also prepares our hearts. Now, the other one that I stumbled onto last night, as I was kind of, I wonder what's out there. And this is another one that I'll post on the Facebook, and I'll also have a printout for us next week. But you can find it different places. But will you give me the next slide? And this here, you see the first part. On the bottom part, which you won't see, you'll have to go out and find it, but it's the kindness Advent calendar. That each day during the season of Advent, you take the pledge, if you will, to do one act of kindness. And some of them are, give someone a hug or a compliment. The next one, let someone in front of you, let someone in front of you in line. And I tell you what, in Christmas season, when you're standing in line, letting someone in front of you, that's an amazing thing. Here is something that will change someone's day. You've got someone behind you. Let's say you're at a store and you've got 3 items. You know, you've got 3 items and you're standing in front of someone. Someone will say, most of the time, hey, why don't you go in front of me, because they got this huge basket. Do this reverse. You've got 3 items, and you've got someone behind you that's got a basket loaded full of stuff. Look at them and say, please go ahead of me. And let them go ahead of you. I know half of you are like, what? I'm even fighting against the idea. And just for that response alone, you gotta do it. Just for that response alone. But all of these ways are ways that we can respond, and we can help bring the pendulum back to grounding, back to the point where gravity and grace pull us back to center. Because it is so easy to be pulled one side or the other, anxiety or not caring, and to listen to the call of our God to bring us back to this place, to bring us back to this call in the season of Advent, as grace beckons us to do that. It's a wonderful thing. There are so many ways that we can reach out and we can be the voice in the hands of God in this time. And God is calling us to it. Grace, my friends, grounding